And that is an area where you talk about the compassion. Okay. And that gives women a head start on men. Am I reading that right?
Kind of. Now, when you say head start, I'm really curious what you mean. Can you be more specific?
Head start, I'm being able to connect with, okay, I'm being specific.
Yes.
A head start, I'm being able to connect with the universal knowledge, your instinct, being able to pull from walking in a room and seeing moods without people actually saying anything and being aware of those moods.
Yes. And again, this is a cultural conditioning piece. Both men and women are capable of what you just said. The difference is compassion, humanity, sensitivity has been conditioned out of men. Men are not taught to value those things. And the unfortunate piece of that is all men are human, beautiful humanity. There's nothing stronger than a man who has the courage to feel in front of others, AKA vulnerability. And I'm not talking about breaking down and crying in front of your team. That's not what I'm talking about. Exposing your humanity makes you a more accessible and influential leader, period. This is empirically proven. This is not my opinion. So, Brene Brown has built quite an empire.
Yes, yes, she has.
On this fact, right? So this is what we call heart-centered leadership, right? So women are considered the nurturers. I got to tell you though, listen, I live in West Seattle. I've never seen, this is daddy town. I have never seen so many dudes, and I'm not talking about like daddies. I'm talking about dudes, tatted up, cap wearing, cigarettes in the back with the baby Bjorn. Dudes with babies. And you can see their humanity, you can see their sensitivity, you can see how much they care for their children. And it doesn't make them appear weak. It makes them appear awesome and powerful, that they can nurture their babies, right? This is not a female attribute. It's just that men have been taught it is not safe to have compassion. It is not safe to feel. So when I wrote Compassionate Self-Defense, it was mainly to help women see that they don't need to learn to fight like men in order to be safe in the world. That's completely unnecessary. It's all of their soft skills. It was essentially two things: an advanced situational awareness manual, compassionate self-defense and empowerment, the book that I wrote. It was a manual with tons of research, right? Like I said, evidence-based is the way to go for me. I'm very left brain. I'm a tactician. And I feel like if I don't present the evidence, it's not going to be believed or, executed.
Yes.
So I help women see the science of intuition, help them understand where these intuitive signals are coming from, help them trust when they come in, especially if they're subtle, because some of them are easy to miss and they're always missed, and then help them, give them permission to speak up for themselves. Because sometimes, the criminals, and I would like to point out here, the first thing that I say in my book is there will be no man bashing. There are so many men whose entire lives are dedicated to the safety and equity of women. And it's very important that women see that, and that we don't allow ourselves to be fooled by the dehumanization that's going on in the media, right?
Yes.
That's the compassion piece. These men are walking wounded, and they were not born this way. Something went down in their childhoods, and they are in pain. That's who's doing these crimes. And it's like 10% of men. 90% of men are not on the radar because they're awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how the media makes money. So we won't go down that road.
We're not going to go down that road. That's a whole different podcast.
And I think that's a very powerful spot to start with, though, to think about, okay, we're not bashing anybody. Okay. And especially that small minority that's getting the news headlines. Okay. We're not bashing those. What we're talking about, though, is a balance. Yeah. Okay. Now, I was, by the way, I spent yesterday at the best university in the world. We're getting ready for the fall. So we can disclose that later on, what that best university is. I didn't realize that when we talked the other day that you went there as well. So
indeed. That's why I'm smiling like this.
Yeah. I was so impressed with the, don't want to call out his title without his permission, but he's a big mucky muck in the arts and science. I was so impressed with the amount of programs that they're running to help us balance out.
Yeah.
His ability to connect with instinctual work, his the things that he wants the deans are doing at different schools. It's powerful. And when we forget that and just focus on that 10%, which is good about what you're doing, I want to ask you a little bit more about your book. Tell us the title again and then how it fits into your current work.
Okay. So the title is Unbreakable Woman. That was the program. That was my signature
Mm-hmm.
program at the time. Compassionate self-defense and empowerment. I started first providing evidence-based approach to using instincts, to using intuition in order to stay safe, because I felt like the women's empowerment piece, I wanted to participate in that in a very conscious way. So it was my first attempt to bring conscious, deliberate living to the self-defense space, which was very disruptive. People are just like, I just want to learn to punch and kick. I'm like, I don't think you get it.
Yeah, and I don't get it.
I'm like, let me tell you, I worked on an ambulance for 7 years.
Yes.
You don't want to fight, ladies. It doesn't look like the movies. If you've ever been in a scuffle, it's ugly, it's sloppy, everybody gets hurt, always. You don't want to get in a physical altercation, trust me. So, part of it is there's this romance about feeling powerful, feeling powerful through physical violence, meeting violence with violence versus being powerful and the violence doesn't happen. It was about being. It was sort of the entry level of deliberate conscious level and being authentically powerful.
I'm starting to see that now. Starting to see where you're going with that. Because what we're saying